Good evening. I was going to do a video on something else, but this is broken today about 6 7 hours ago. The coach of the women's football team in the UK, England women's football team, Mark Samson has been sacked. There were rumours that he had left by mutual consent earlier. It is apparent that he's now been sacked. There's been a long rumbling saga to do with two players, Eni Luco and Sanderson, that he had dropped and hadn't played for a couple of years over racism and bullying. He was cleared on both investigations on that. Um, and apparently, the reason why he was sacked was due to inappropriate conduct at a coaching role at a football club, Bristol, that he had been the women's manager for before he became England manager. That's all the news has basically said. There's been no further comment by any party. Um, and That's it, really. I mean, the FA itself has got several other issues to consider. Many problems. That's the second national coach that's been sacked within the last 2 years for something inappropriate or dodgy. Amongst it's one of several issues that the FA have got to deal with at this current time. And This sort of links into a video that I'm going to be doing later in the week about minorities and gender. How Another issue is that Bristol Women's Club, we don't know what the exact investigation was about and whether he was fired or hired. Well, when he was fired and hired, because he was obviously allowed to join the England setup. I don't think he was fired, and there's been no statement from them. All we know is that there was an investigation internal by the club, not by the FA. He then left his job at Bristol to join the England setup, and all this has come to light in the last month, alongside the allegations of bullying and stigmatising those of colour in the England setup. However, for some reason, on a coaching standpoint, on the actual how the women's team have played in the last couple of years, two successive semi-finals, qualifying for tournaments, doing well at tournaments, winning games. So his tactics obviously are good. Him as a person, I can't comment. Never met the guy. I've met a few famous sportsmen in my time, but I've never met him. He's also not English. He's Welsh as well. That's pretty much the background I know of him. He's 33, 34, so he's quite young, especially on international coaching standards, be it male or female game. So there's not really much that I know about him, but he's been in the news a lot lately because of the ongoing FA investigation, etc., etc. The only thing I could possibly think of is he's had an affair with one of his female players that he's been coaching, which would, I think, be a breach of trust and conflict of interest if you can't date one of your players you're going to be coaching in a team sport. I would assume that, but that's my assumption. And that's probably where he's had that investigation at Bristol. Because had he had anything more serious, such as racism or sexism, which are actually technically illegal, the police would have clearly been involved. So that's my view. Because the FA have cleared him for safeguarding. Obviously, every coach has to go through these DRB checks, so it's obviously nothing to do with anything of that kind of misconduct. So he's obviously had a personal relationship outside of the game with one of the players he was coaching, or several of the players, something along those lines, and that has fallen afoul of breach of trust and things like that. So that's the only thing I could personally think of. But it's not been a good time for the FA in the last couple of years with first Sam Allardyce in the men's team, and now this with the women's team, the two main senior sides. And it's just a bit of a qualifying campaign as well. So that's a bit of an odd timing. Why didn't they get rid of him before qualifying campaign or before the match last night? But they won 6-0. The team seemed pretty unified, but It's quite serious what's going on. But it links into a video that I was planning to do on minorities and not just necessarily gender, but sexuality in sport, and why, if in the women's game it's acceptable to be a lesbian or bisexual, people don't seem to be as fussed about women's sport when they come out as gay. But in men's sport, yeah, there aren't that many figures who are involved in sport who are openly gay. We've had one ex-football player, Thomas Hitzelsberger, come out as gay. An ex-cricketer who's now actually, unfortunately I forget, but there's an ex-England cricketer, and Gareth Thomas, the Welsh Rugby League and Rugby Union player, came out as gay while still playing, and I believe he's the only player to do so. And we've also got the referee, whose name, Nigel Owens, the international referee, Rugby Union, also gay. But apart from those four examples, there doesn't seem to be that many that in the last 20 years that I can think of. I know there's a boxer who's come out as gay in the US. But it does surprise me with the percentage of people who actually identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. That only, I think it's like 2-3% of the world population, if you go by studies. So if you've got like a league of, let's say, the NHL now, 31 teams, with X amount of players on the roster and their support teams and the support staff and so on, that there is no openly gay member of the squad. But that's another video for another day. I just thought I'd make a brief reference. But yeah, we will probably find out more in the next few days about Mark Samson and his sacking. And watch this space. Place comments in the section below, and please subscribe, please share, or go through the videos. Some of my older stuff is on slightly different things, not just sport, but a lot of it is about sport. So yeah, just comment on the links below and in this place below, and I shall be seeing you guys soon.